Welcome YouTube, Tim Cooper, Cooper's Automotive, and we've got a 2008 Toyota Tacoma SR5 sitting in here today, and it was in Friday, and we replaced the left front hub bearing, which I've done a video on hub bearings on these before, but I haven't done a rear. We put the electronic little ear sensors to all the wheels. That's how we diagnose them, to pin down which ones that it is. And this one had 3 bad. We took care of the easy one. Now we're doing the harder ones on the rear. So let's show you how we get that done. Okay, you gotta take the brakes off. So gotta get your shoes off of there. This thing's got all kinds of springs on it. You got your 2 lockdown springs for your shoes. We got a ton of other springs that got to come off of here. I lightly grab these springs with cutter pliers. This is a brand new pair. I usually don't use new pairs, use older pairs that are dull. These are sharp. You know, all these springs that come off, there's a spring down here in the bottom. It just slides up. Sometimes it does. Get a hold of that thing yet. Here we go. Goes from there to your emergency brake. Just gonna set them up there. I had a magnet but I'm using it on something else. And then there's one lower spring right here. A lot of times I'll pull the shoe up enough to get access to it. There we go. The lower spring. You know, you got to take the wheel and the drum off. I didn't show all that. Oh, what's else here? Hopefully, spread this enough. Let it fly. I'll pick that up a little bit. Another spring come out of there that holds that other ring in there. I just kind of pull them apart. Enough to get room. Hopefully get this spring out of here, right here, okay? Sometimes you can use the axle as a pivot point to pry forward and release it. So there's all, look at all that apparatus. These rear brakes got more on it than I've seen in any rear brake. These are not easy. Get down to the side. This emergency brake cable right here has to be released. Slide it up and out. So we've got all our brakes off. The next thing, you gotta take, since we're replacing this whole bearing, this bearing, I'll show you what it looks like later. You crimp off your hoses. It has individual left and right rear brake hoses. And right back here is the brake line. I want to come behind this Dave and show that. Just right here, take the brake line out. Yeah, these things were so bad. Not only is it four-wheel drive, but it's got regular highway tread tires on it. But you would have swore it had Munster mutters. She was growling like crazy. It's a good old Monday morning. Okay, so the brake line out. Then right back here is a wheel speed sensor. Has a 10 millimeter in it, and it has to pop up out of there. I already took the bolt out of it. Just lay it off to the side. These 4 bolts right here have to come out. They're 14 millimeter. Those long mountain wrenches. Yes, sir. You hear me talk about them all the time. So much more leverage. Of course, with that, you break the tool. Lifetime guarantee. Probably going to be a short video. Looks like too, you see all this here, kind of oily. It's leaking a little bit. It's going to get new axle seals put in it. Besides just bearings. Go in there one time. Get it done. Now, once you get your full bolts out, you got that out. This emergency brake cable also bolts to the backing plate right here. There's 2 10 millimeters right there that have to come out. Belt with the just the adjusting rod at the top. All right, once you get it there, you can tap on this with a hammer right here, and she should just come out of there. Let's find out. Yeah. There's differential fluid leaking. Pull that up out of there. And hear that? That's loud going down the road, believe it or not. We'll go ahead and take this wheel cylinder out. This bearing is pressed on the axle. 2 10s on the back of the wheel cylinder. Just start those back in there. Okay. Right there's the seal. We're going to replace this seal. There's also a little rubber seal right here. See that? We're going to replace that too. Like I said, the bearing's here. And the bearing has a snap ring in it right there. I'm spinning it with my finger. That comes off. Then there's a lock ring that's pressed on there. You got your ABS wheel speed reluctor ring down underneath there, and this has to be split or cracked or put it in a press. Special adapter slides over the axle, bolts of this, you put it in the press and press it out. I don't have that tool for the Toyota. I'm gonna get one soon. They make a universal one, but I'll send this to my axle shaft guy and he'll press on. This is the bearing. It's a, well, got a part number on there somewhere. Guess we don't worry about that today. But this is the bearing we got for it. Full hub bearing. Here's where that sensor goes. These are indexed left and right because of this wheel speed sensor. so they don't interchange from side to side. So when you're doing this, make sure you get the correct size or the correct side when you're doing the press work, if you guys have the press for these. So we'll let it press this apart, and then we'll pick back up, and I'll just bolt it back together with the new bearing in there. Okay, we're back after a long day. The axle shop, look right here. He's got the new lock ring in there. He's got the new retainer put on and the new bearing in. And listen to this. Hey, no noise. So we're quiet. I went ahead and put the seal in. You guys know how to drive seals in a seal driver, so I wasn't going to add the new O-ring up here. We're good, so we'll line that up. Keep that axle up off of that seal just a little bit. Get our 4 bolts in there, just like that. And our 4 bolts that hold it in on the back. Get them all started, and we'll get them all tightened up. I look very red today, more than normal. That's not just my Irish. Went fishing this weekend, 7 hours on the water, kayak fisherman, that's what I do. And we had a good time. Sunblock 2000 is not enough for an Irish redhead. Next time, I don't know what to do. Maybe go out there and fully clothed. I don't know. You know, Daddy did landscaping forever. I worked for him, and I just couldn't do it no more because I got tired of burning every day on a daily basis. No. What it is lately, we've been bearing after bearing after bearing job. I saw the adapter that the drive shaft shop uses for this. I got a press. Now it's time to research the adapter that goes over the shaft. I can do this from this side. Start doing this stuff myself. I can cut retainer rings off. Yeah, probably could have cut the retainer ring off and pressed it on there anyway, but I don't want to take any chances too of running that ABS reluctor ring, and then here we go. Open up a whole new keg of worms. Good and tight. Take our wheel speed sensor. There's one 10 millimeter. Go ahead and put that in. And this back side, right back here. You can shoot a picture of it right through here, and then I'll tighten it up. So just tightening up that wheel speed sensor. It. Wheel cylinder. Oh yeah, I started those so I'd know where they were at. Not bad. A lot of times I'll start my line first before I start the nuts, just because you can wiggle it around a little bit. Start sticking a little bit. Alright, started my line on my brake line. Start one with your 2 wheel cylinder nuts in the back. Just those 2 right there, and tighten that line up. Alright. We got room for this. tighten the wheel cylinder bolts up. Yeah, I like it. Good. Wheel cylinder's in, wheel cylinder's secured. Got that emergency brake. This I did notice, guys. That's broken. So, we'll be talking to him about replacing that emergency brake cable. The two 10mm that line that up. Once we get the bracket lined up here. Yeah, there's those two right there. That's that. Oh, it's plastic. Way to get the light in there a little bit better. Okay, we got to hang our shoes back on. That's going to be interesting within itself. We're missing two of these. I needed these, guys. That was what I needed from this. I'll show you what's on the other side that was bent. Here they are. We're doing both sides. That thing's bent. I'm not going to reuse that. I mostly just needed these new pins. Let's put these up in there. There we go. We gotta wash everything down. Let that dry a little bit while it's doing that. Then we're going to grab some backing plate now. Wipe this down a little bit. It's in pretty good shape. It's actually in really good shape. Okay. Move these little tabs a little bit. Helps with squeaking sounds. Helps not to wear that backing plate out because those brake shoes, they slide back and forth on that. That lube makes a big difference. Okay. Find all my pieces. You gotta reinstall that cable into that notch. If everything works well, hopefully I don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. We'll just grab it right here and pull it back and see if we get enough room. Yeah, plenty of room there. I'm gonna take that. Get right down in there. There we go. Locked in place. I'm lining up my hold down pin. Just to hang that right there. Put my hold down spring lock on my lock pin. And twist. Lock it right in to the outer piece. There's a one slot, so that holds that shoe right in place. Now for this one. This one came across, went into that notch right there for your emergency brake. Just like that. We've got some springs to put in. Yeah, but still, we're going to put this pull down clip on this side. Got it. Wow. Sometimes it helps if you just kind of look at it, see if you can line up the notch in the clip before you start pushing on it. Right there, you can see it kind of come through just a little bit. I'm going to keep everything together here. There we go. And it's locked in. Alright, so that's locked in now. Like I said, this rear brakes has a lot of little stuff going on with it. It's self-adjuster that goes up in there. We also have the self-adjuster that went across this piece. That slid down just a little bit. I got to pick it up. Alright, there's the other piece that goes on the back of this piece here. Okay, we gotta get that slid back up on the self-adjuster. Get tired after a while, I think. Start dropping everything. Alright, I know this is hard to see what I'm doing. I'm basically just getting the adjuster lined up with the notches in the shoes. Your regular techs, you know what to do with that. Now we want to stretch that spring. I'm going to have to move this light again so that I can get up in there. I want to be sure one thing before I do that. Mike can put this piece in easier now than I can later. And let's see, Dave, get a shot of this. So self-adjuster goes in a notch inside of there, and then there's a pin. There's a pin in the shoe right there. And the pin and the notch, it fits into that self-adjuster on one side of it. Once we pull that spring, attach that spring into that hole right there. So that's what I'll be doing right now. Sweat my eyes. It's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. When you got this many pieces, like I said, most brake systems, they don't have all this stuff. General Motors are about the easiest there is out there. It's a long way to stretch, especially when you can't see what's going on, but we got it. So you're going to take a picture of that, and it's just hanging in there, and I'm going to lock it in right there and get that spring down into that hole. There you go. As my other YouTube compadre says, screwdriver's nothing more than a universal chisel, pry bar, or whatever. Funny, they used to say right on the screwdriver, this is not a pry bar. Alright. Looks like we're sliding very good, just making sure. And again, if you're looking at that self-adjuster, you see how it fits in that notch. Now that the spring has loaded it, there's a spring that goes to that self-adjuster and comes down to this bottom hole. So that's the next spring that we're actually going to attach. It's going to be this lighter one. There's a hole inside of that. We'll hold that right there. Now, if I can hold my light and grab this spring and pull this spring in place, that'd be great. While you're seeing this, it just goes right in there. Okay, slides in there, keeps the tension on the self-adjuster, and every time you, I believe on this one, every time either you're backing up, it self-adjusts the brakes, or some of them it self-adjusts the brakes by pulling on the emergency brake cable. Okay, so we got that. Now we got this spring. And this one, get that piece in there, it's just kind of flopping around. There we go. Now that I got it in its notch. Very good. This one goes right. Excuse me. This one goes right there on the outside of that emergency brake lever. If I can hold it long enough and hold this light for you. Right there. And stay there, light. It's actually the retainer for this other piece over here. So you grab a hold of that. Did it go flying? Yep. Alright. We'll do it again. A very difficult jigsaw puzzle, Dave. Alright. Let's stand up here. Stay lined up. There, it slides into that and holds that lever on. Okay. Got the brakes on. We got one more cable, or excuse me, one more spring. Goes across the bottom of the brake shoe here. Attaches to that one right there. I know, don't get mad at me for using cutter pliers. I don't like it either. Take it out of there a little bit, then I should be able to get a universal pry bar. Let's see here. And spring thing back up. Okay. There we go. Get her in there again. Alright, and she's in the wrong place. That spring has to go up underneath there. Here we go. Up underneath the bottom of that. Now your shoes are in place. I'm going to clean these shoes a little bit. Not a lot, because I don't want to wash off all my brake lubricant that I put on that. Spray on the rag. soak your rag out. I just want to wipe that outside of the shoes down. That's all I want to do. Wipe the outside of the shoes down. There we are. Alright. Now let's take a look at her drum. She looks pretty good. Like I said, it was leaking a little bit. The axle grease. So again, wash this out. Right. Now we insert our drum, providing we don't have to make any adjustments. I did not change the brake adjustment, so I'm hoping. Adjust that down a little bit. It's too tight. Should be able to hold that self-adjuster back. A little room here. Let's see if that's enough. Still tighter than I like. Let's loosen that up some more. I don't always adjust the brakes later, but let's get this drum on here easy. I'm just doing the star adjuster. Sometimes you gotta do that to even get the drum off to begin with. Check our stingers. Got more tension than I like. I want that baby to go on there easy. What does Snoop Dogg say? Don't know what it all means. Easy peasy. Ain't nothing easy. If it's easy, you ain't doing something right. I'm going to take this line pinch off this line too and make sure that we're not holding any pressure on our wheel cylinder, and we shouldn't be. The other thing that can do this is the emergency brake, but there we go. That's much better. So that's a wheel bearing. So reinstall the brake pads. You don't have a press. Find a gear shop, rear differential shop that has a press to press that all apart for you. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm not going to show you the other side because if you can do one, you can do two. And no different. And that's going to be a wrap on the 2008 Toyota Tundra SR5 rear wheel bearing growling. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.